How to spark students' passion in learning. My name is Jackie Reed, and I'm the Director of Computer Science Education at MindSpark. I'm also the ColoradoCode.org Regional Partner Manager. You can contact me at jackie@mymindsparklearning.org with any questions, or if you just want some thought partnership, I am always available. So I'll be keeping my eye out for you guys to contact me with some follow-up questions. Discover student strengths. I do this with using multiple intelligence tests or learning style surveys. Doing this gives a starting point and an area to focus. This is a critical area of intelligence to develop for your students, and it's a critical intrinsic motivator, which is authentic learning for your students, and that intrinsic motivator is what we want to get students passionate about learning. I love to use Wayclay in the classroom, and it's a really great resource for remote and distance learning, so I'm just going to show you that. I've already logged into my Wakelet account by entering wakelet.com into my search engine. If you've never logged into Wakelet, you create your account. If you have never created a new collection, you would click here and create a new collection. I've already created a collection to give my students this multiple intelligence assessment right here in Find Your Strength. So I'm going to show you how to edit your collection. Here I can click Edit My Collection, and I can change pictures if I would like. I can also give my section and collection a title with a description. And by clicking on this plus sign, I can enter a URL. I chose a multiple intelligence assessment that would best fit my students, and I copied and pasted that URL right here where it says paste in any web address. Now it's populated this link to the multiple intelligence assessment, and it came up with a different description, which I then deleted and edited the directions for this assessment for students to complete this survey and then move to the next task when finished. Now that I've done that, I can click on the top where I want to click unlisted. You always want your collections to be unlisted when you're doing this with your students. That way, only people with the link can see this work. Now I'm done with my work, so I'll click done. If I want to share this, I can click share here, and I can copy and paste this URL in Google Classroom, on Padlet, or anywhere I want, or I can click Google Classroom here to connect to Google Classroom. I can also click this menu bar to expand and embed anywhere that I can think of embedding in a hyperdoc, in Google Classroom. I can export a PDF that has hyperlinks on it, and I can also delete and change the availability here. Now that I'm all done, I can see my final product. Here's my students' assignment. They're going to take this multiple intelligence test. Then they have a few other options down there we'll go over in just a second. I love this quote by Barbara Bray, go with your strength and develop your passion to discover your purpose. I think this is awesome because you have to start with identifying your students' strengths. Sometimes our students know their strengths, but it's good to give them an assessment so they can see different areas they might be stronger in that they didn't know, and areas they thought they were strong in that they might not be as strong in as what they previously thought. So it's a great place to start by discovering your students' strengths. Next, frame learning. We frame learning by being culturally responsive. Connect learning to the indigenous history of your students' culture or the community, the local community of the school. This gives students a sense of belonging when they can relate what their past ancestors have done to who they are as an individual, and then they can in turn see where they might, or they can envision where they might want to go in the future. You can also collect learning to global goals. This gives students another direction when they see how they're going to contribute to the future. This global goal website, I will take you to it. This global goal website was developed in 2015 by world leaders in the United Nations. Guys, this is huge. Use these global goals in any way you can in your classroom, and I promise you're going to get passionate learners. I love to use Book Creator. I'm going to show you how to use that and how you can use that to get your students to be passionate about learning. After I've given my students their multiple intelligence tests, I log into Book Creator at the top of my search engine. I'm in my teacher dashboard. You can see my libraries down here. I have two libraries. I could create a new library if I subscribed, but right now I can get 40 books in one library, so I'm going to choose one library, and the About Me is what I've titled my library. Here, you can have students click plus new book when you share a link with them, and they can add new books to this library. You can add up to 40 books in one library. If I wanted my students to add books to this library, I would click invite code, and I would give them this code right here through Google Classroom, through Wakelet, through some kind of communication. I would give them this code, and when they log into Book Creator as a student, they would enter this code and have access to this library. You can see I've created a book. Click here to edit. You can create a book and have multiple pages in your book. If you click on this plus sign, you can add different pictures, you can add text, you can even add sound, you can add different comics and text. You can also add different images and pages or borders and patterns in your book. You can click play and have the book read to you, but we're not going to do that. And if you want to share again, you can click down here at this bottom sharing link and have this book published online so you can get a URL to this library, download this as an ebook, or print this for you to have for you and your students. You can have your students looking in Book Creator to summarize their multiple intelligence tests and report their different strengths, or you can have students using Book Creator to summarize how they would solve for a global goal or about their Indigenous history. The next step in getting students passionate about learning is setting expectations for you. So if you're working with young students, aim wide. So young students have a short attention span, so you want to aim wide, let them do a little in a lot of areas. With older students, we want to aim deep because they have a longer attention span. We want to aim deeper in one area versus aiming wide, which is a little bit in multiple areas. This is a student-centered activity. When we want students to be passionate about learning, we really need to make it student-centered. I know just from personal experience that you have to trust hard work follows passion when you're truly giving a student-centered learning experience. Give students a rubric so they have somewhere to go off, and to give everybody in the group as well as individual students accountability. One of the last things, I love this quote I saw from Edutopia, so I'm just going to leave it here. I think this quote is so important that we remember that relationships before rigor, grace before grades, patience before programs, and love before lessons right now and as we embark on the next year with our students. Last, you want to demonstrate learning. When you're getting students passionate about learning, you want them to demonstrate learning using all of these great resources, have them collaborate over these, and have them share their products of learning over these great resources.